Hey, I'm Scott,
And I'm Chris.
and this is Doxologic, where we help you think with your Bible.
Okay, next question. Should Christians listen to secular music?
I think
Speaking of.
anytime you have a question where you say should they listen, I think that's not like a yes they could you imagine me saying yes you should listen to secular music? It's more like a permissible thing, right? Is it permissible to listen to secular music? Because I could never be like, yes, here's what I think today on Doxologic. You should.
And if you're not, start
And you're
today.
not, then
Right.
start today. Yeah. Then we give some suggestions and we go around. And Chris, Chris
Obviously,
looks like a
that's-
Beach Boys guy, in my opinion. What's he?
Unnecessary. Just got to wear black, all right? Like the two of you. I'm a little more exciting over here than.
That's exactly my
I'm-
point.
That's
exactly my
hoodie on.
point.
I'm plenty
Jiminy
exciting.
Christmas. Can I say something?
Sure.
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
About the Beach Boys?
They're the greatest band
About
of
se-
all time.
about secular music and the Beach Boys. I would categorically just maybe challenge just the idea. What is secular music? What do they mean by that? Because there are beautiful pieces of music, whether they're instrumental or include voice, that are not
Overtly
they're
Christian.
not overtly Christian. They may or may not have been composed by Christians. So we look at classical and instrumental piano music.
Sure.
I love listening to instrumental piano, instrumental guitar while I'm studying or something like that. I think that's great. But is it a non-believer? It's plenty likely that it is, and it's just a song that they literally put together. And so I would challenge what secular music means, in part because there's some really bad Christian music.
Yes.
There's some stuff that gets passed as Christian
fair,
music
yeah.
that is straight up heretical.
Right.
And so
Far more dangerous than listening to
which
classical
is
music.
far more
know?
dangerous,
Yeah.
it turns out, because you're being fed something, you're being told is Christian music
Yeah.
that is using the words Jesus and God and things, and it is importing all sorts of, literally heresy
Yeah.
from some of the biggest bands in the world right now. But that's also been true for decades. Let's be clear. So I would kind of like caution, like, what's the opposite of secular music?
Mm-hmm.
Is the opposite of secular music Christian music? That's the categorical. I think it's there's a bit of a fallacy there of just assuming that. And then I would just say, yeah, secular music, which is derogatory or tearing down God's standards, or is promoting a type of idolatrous, sexually sinful, whatever lifestyle, you got to be very cautious with that. But you can't deny certain catchy tunes that if you know them, you know them. It's not like some heinous thing. So
Yeah, and I think music shapes the mind in a lot of ways. So you really have to make sure you understand the level at which you're engaging in music in general, right? It's different when you're listening to instrumental music because you're not listening to words, for example. But our minds are so moldable,
Right.
and we're memory oriented, and the image bearer in us moves towards imitation. In fact, that's such a huge piece of discipleship, is imitating someone who's your discipler, like Paul's saying, follow me as I follow Christ, and those kind of things. And watching what you take in inevitably has an effect on you. And so I think you do have to be really, really careful about what you take in. And I don't think this necessarily is across the board the same application for every Christian. But I think the same general application would be to say you need to be very careful with what you take in, and you need to make sure you understand that music preaches, especially the ones with words, and you've got a completely different agenda coming your way. And I think it's important too, even for your kids as they grow up, but instead of just like a lot of times, just going, no, I won't do any of that. Engage with some of that stuff, especially as you're trying to disciple someone through listening to music. Like, hey, let's pause this for a second. Let's break this down. What is different between this and a Christian worldview? Right. What are they undermining here, and what are they saying? And hopefully, you're letting the sweetness of Christ and the kind of foulness of this also lean your music listening in a particular direction as a result of that, right? But I would say that it's not a one-size-fits-all direct application for every single person.
Yeah.
And last thing on my mind would be that all beauty kind of is God's beauty in terms of like God made beautiful things. He continues to make beautiful things. And when image bearers make beautiful things, as in beautiful music, there's an appreciation that can be from the Christian absorbing that, be appreciated, be especially when it's an incredibly like talented either solo artist of something. If you're in a performance or at a performance you're watching, it should bring glory to God in your own heart, whether or not that person's doing it at, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in their heart, whether they know it or not. The music that they're producing is I think the glory of God is in that to a degree because it's beautiful, and so it can be appreciated. But walk with caution. But I would argue, as I already did, from the Christian side of things and how treacherous some of that can be, you walk with caution with everything you listen to.
Yeah. But probably a little less caution with the Beach Boys.
They've been around long enough, less caution.
They're
Yeah,
so
less
happy.
caution.
you
His
know?
shirt looks like the ocean. Now that I think about it.
Someone's going to get on the video because you said that, and they will disagree with you, Scott.
No, I think it is.
because
You've got
you
like
are-
sand colors.
It's like I'm wearing a
and
Hawaiian
blue.
shirt. Am I wearing a Hawaiian
Yeah.
shirt?
Yeah,
No.
close. It's close.
I just can't. I can't, and I'm not gonna.
Good for you, Chris.
Thank you, Brie.
You've been listening to Doxologic, a podcast by Doxa Church in Rockland, California. To learn more, visit us online at doxa.church.